And, right? I mean, it was so special and wonderful and dark.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, so I gotta ask, like, real talk. You've been doing so much press for this. Are you so sick of talking about social media?
No. What do you mean? No, not really. I think it's actually kind of important to talk about.
Yeah.
And I have feelings about it, so it's kind of weirdly been nice to just say how I feel about it.
Yeah. How do you feel about it?
I feel very conflicted about it. I try to find the positive in it. I try to have fun with it. I definitely use it, so there's like a reason why it's so fun and addictive. But I think that there's a lot of negatives, and I think it's important to just be aware of how it makes you feel, and to just be more conscious about its use, because that's the scariest part about it for me, is when I kind of aimlessly like pick my phone up and I'm just using it and not really thinking, and then I realize like, oh, maybe I should like turn this off.
Yeah, like mindlessly scrolling.
Yes.
Yeah. Is there an account that you have that you feel like you can just be you on? Like, do you have a separate private account where you can be like Aubrey, Plaza, and yourself?
Yeah, I do. I have that. And it's just like people that I actually am friends with.
Yeah. So you, I mean, obviously don't tell us what it is.
R S
Underscore.
I mean, I'm sure you could find it in like 4 seconds.
Oh, wow.
I don't know.
Don't pick up your
No,
phone.
don't look. Don't
Yeah,
look.
if we're in the middle of an interview, like, that'd be rude, and yeah, stay with us. All right, so who is your favorite Instagram influencer that you still follow post the film that you feel like you can really kind of like indulge with or want to indulge with after making this?
I don't know. I generally follow like people that I actually know. What is that? What is that? Someone talking to me? What was I saying? I follow people that I know more than, well, I don't know. It's kind of equal now, strangers versus people I know. But I would say,
Where do you draw the line?
I don't know.
You know them, but you only know them online.
I don't know, and sometimes I'm like, why am I following this person? And then I'll like delete it, and I'll go back. It's just bizarre, like why we do those things. I follow, I don't know, influencer. I don't know who. I guess Tavi Jevonson, I think, is really cool. What is she an influencer?
Yeah, she
Okay.
is. But you know what?
I think
this is a deep cut, which we should cut out for the podcast. By the way, this is being recorded for Strong Opinions Loosely Held podcast, brought to you by Refinery 29. That said, I have some deep cuts on Tavi.
Okay.
No, we see the same therapist.
Oh, what? You're not allowed to say that.
Well, I didn't know. We were in the.
Isn't that illegal?
Well, we were in the waiting room. What's the rule for waiting room?
They're not allowed to put you there at the same time.
They don't know that.
That goes against. Well.
I mean, somebody said that's true, so should I have not said? I mean, I don't know. It's unconfirmed. It's unconfirmed. I'm not sure if the therapist did. I'm just saying I may have seen her once in a therapist's office that may or may have not been. Anyway, she's great.
Maybe she was waiting for her friend.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, anyway. Moving on. Was there someone, like an acquaintance or like a Instagram influencer that you had in mind when you were playing Ingrid? Like that was in the back of your mind, or that you were influenced by?
To play that character?
Yeah.
Not really. No, I think for Elizabeth Olsen, she'd probably have a better answer for that one, because the writer-director Matt Spicer gave her like a list of people that he wanted her to follow. He created Taylor Sloan's account and gave her the password and was like, you should start using this account, take pictures, do whatever you feel like in the character, and gave her a bunch of people to follow. So she went kind of crazy following these people, and I don't know how she used it for her character or not, but for me, I would say there were people that I more just kind of allowed myself to indulge in Instagram in a way that I don't normally. Like, I would just let myself be on there for way too long and to just be like hopping around different pages and just really going deep. So that's what I did, but there wasn't any specific people that I was like, oh, this is like my character or anything.
Right. And so when you joined Instagram, did that help you control the narrative as an in-demand actor and as a celebrity? Did Instagram help you control the narrative that you wanted to portray versus having the media make that narrative for you?
You mean for the movie?
Sorry,
or
no, just as you joining
me?
Instagram, yeah, as a user.
Yes, totally. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the reasons why it's cool. It's you have total self-control over the story you want to tell about yourself. And for me, using it as more of a professional tool, if you want to call it that, is more comfortable for me rather than like using it, I don't know, as a personal like kind of hobby to like show people like what I look like right now or whatever. That's not like what I don't know. So I think, yeah. Cool.
So, as you were making the film, did you find parallels between the culture on Instagram and its focus on perfection and superficiality with celebrity culture in Hollywood, the entertainment industry for women? Were there parallels that you felt there or saw?
Yes. I think that Taylor Sloan's character is a great example of what's going on in Hollywood and I think just the idea that all of her pictures and everything that she's putting out there is so perfect, and then you kind of peel back the layers and find out like, oh, she has never read that book, and I think that kind of pulling the curtain down is definitely something that kind of needs to happen. But more than that, I think, like I said before, I think it's just having more of an awareness that this is not real and this is all curated and deliberate is more important than, exposing people that are, portraying like a false reality or something.
Yeah, so much smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, it's confusing.
Totally, and like for young women who are growing up like on the platform or whose friends are on the platform, like what does the film, you think, say about finding yourself as a young woman in a culture of confusing realities where you kind of have to piece apart like the smoke and mirrors and pull back the bullshit? Like, what do you think it says about finding yourself amidst a really confusing culture?
Well, I hope it reminds people that being your true self and being in touch with your authentic self and just being who you are is more valuable than pretending to be something else. I think that for me, the movie is really about real human connections versus smoke and mirrors. And so I hope, if people walk away and just think like, oh, like all of this stuff on Instagram and all these thoughts that I have in my head about these certain things on the internet, like they're literally just in my head. Like it's not tangible, it's not real, and it's better to kind of just like look at what's in front of you.
Yeah. Is there anything with regards to the film? That's not true. Can I come back to that question because I have one more?
No, you.
Okay.
No,
Right, yeah.
we will never go back to that.
It's kind of things a lot of you asked. That you haven't been asked in all the press that you've been doing, or like one thing that you haven't been able to get in on an interview, like that's been weighing you down, like you're in the shower and you're like, oh, I should have said that.
I've never had that moment.
Really?
Never in my life. My moment in the shower is like, I said too much. I always do, and I always will. I'll never win. Well, I have another question.
Which is, can you talk about your role on the film as a producer? You were involved in casting, I believe.
Yes.
Talk about your role as a producer, and were you involved in script writing? What was going on behind the scenes?
I had just come off of a movie that came out earlier this summer called The Little Hours, which I also have a producing credit on, and that kind of started my journey as a producer, but I wasn't as hands-on with that movie as I was with Ingrid, but it was the first thing that kind of opened my eyes up to the possibilities of producing. And so when I read the script, when I read Ingrid, I was just, so my brain was just like exploding with ideas, and I just had such a clear, I was so excited about the script. It's a beautifully written script and so fun, and I just was so excited by the character that I was like, I just knew I wanted to produce it because I had such a clear vision of what I thought the movie could be in my head. And once I sat down with Matt Spicer, and I kind of knew him a little socially, but not really. And once we had our first meeting about it, it was clear that we were totally on the same page and that it would be a really great collaboration. And so I kind of just started from the very, very beginning with him. And then we went into our casting process. We went after all the people that we really wanted, and I helped that process along. We had some really interesting, I think our cast is amazing. I think it's like the reason why the movie is so great. Everyone is so perfectly perfect in their parts. So I had a lot to do with that, and I really loved it. I don't know.
Cool. Yeah. You did a great job.
Thank you.
Both casting and production and being in the film.
Thank you. Yeah, it was really different than producing the other movie because I'm in almost every scene of the movie. So I'm in every scene of the movie actually, I think. So it was like the shoot was a very short shoot. There were a lot of crazy
Was it super grueling?
obstacles. Yes, we had so many crazy things happen. We had like literally natural disasters, fires. Matt Spicer, the director, went through a sliding glass door in the middle of a take, shattered it, had to go to the hospital. We were just dodging bogeys left and right every day, and it was totally insane. But it all worked out, and I would do it again.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't tell.
Right.
Watching it.
Well, I think some of the best movies are made with the craziest production stories. I think actually that stuff all kind of infused crazy energy into the movie, and I like that when that happens.
It seemed like you guys really had a great family, type atmosphere.
Yeah, and every time something would go wrong, O'Shea Jackson Jr. would Postmates 20 boxes of Krispy Kreme and just hand it out to the crew. He was the best. He was our happy, fun guy.
Awesome. With that, we should open it up to the audience for Q&A. We've got a mic circulating, so feel free to ask any questions that you have, and if you don't have any questions, I'll keep going down my list.
Hi. So my question for you is, I think a lot of us watching this movie, we could kind of relate to Ingrid in a lot of ways that kind of want to be, to have kind of acceptance on social media and to see our followers grow and more and more likes. And I'm wondering if you as a celebrity, as somebody who already gets so many people following her and so many people knowing your name and are interested in your life, do you kind of feel your own struggles with social media? Do you find yourself
Hold on, my phone's vibrating.
You probably got an IG
Yeah,
notification.
one.
Oh, I got it. What do you mean? Like, as a celebrity, how do I feel about
Like,
Instagram?
do you find yourself, like, you know, like, caring about it? Like,
About, like, how many followers I have?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. But I don't want to. Like, I only joined. Okay, I think that if you're for me, it's more, okay, on my private account, the one that I was talking about earlier, I don't care how many followers I have because those are just my real friends. And like, that's just a way for me to see what my friends are up to when I can't see them in person or something. And so but when I joined on my public account, I did it in January, and I did it deliberately because I am producing movies and I want to share what I have going on with people, but I'm not necessarily like trying to win the race of, getting the most followers. But the reality is that the more people that follow my account, the more people will know about the movie, and I care so much about the movie that's great. But it's complicated because it's like, I don't know. I think for me, it's more comfortable to treat it as a tool, as a work tool, so that it's kind of directs people to the work that I'm doing, and then hopefully I can keep doing good work and having more control over the roles that I get and the things that I can create. So that's how I look at it. But it's hard not to get wrapped up in like the popularity contest of it all, because it just makes you feel like you're in middle school.
Yeah.
And it sucks.
Hi. Okay, my question is, the ending, I'm not sure I'm super stoked on it, just because...
Tell us how you really feel.
No, really, I actually want to know, because I know the ending is kind of, yeah.
Well, for me, I kind of feel like it's glamorizing being like, I'm suicidal and here, let me get some followers out of it. Not that that was the character's intention, but I don't know how I feel about it, because for young people, like, I'm older. I'm not like so old, but like I just feel like, okay, I understand certain parts of life, and then for younger people who are like in their teens, they might see it as like a way to like, oh, that worked for her, I want to get more followers. Like, I just am curious how you feel about it.
I mean, I do not want that to happen. I think that for me, the ending is all about the juxtaposition of having Dan Pinto's character there and having the only real authentic relationship that she's had in the movie confront her in the moment when she is getting seemingly what she wanted this whole time. And so it's a bitter, sweet ending where you find, and I think it's like, that's life, I think it's kind of, the message is more like, it's more of a question mark, if anything. It's more like, will she learn from her ways, or will she look at what's in front of her and start focusing on reality? So I think that it's a really complicated ending, but I hope that the message is not that.
Hi, my question is, why didn't you make the ending more real? When a person tries to commit suicide, and if they go through with it, well, nothing happens, they just die. But when they don't, they usually go to jail or to a hospital, mental hospital or something, instead of being rewarded for it, which is what else?
I don't think that the movie is trying to reward her for anything. I think the message is saying she wanted followers, but she got it when she was her true, authentic self. It wasn't about the suicide. You know, people were connecting to someone that was coming clean and saying, look, this is who I really am, this is me. And I think we all feel that way, or at least I do a lot of times. So I think if there was any reward, it was more of an outpouring of support for someone that was just being themselves in a way that we all have a hard time doing. So
the video before with the candles, like she really does come clean and like cuts through the BS and kind of says like in a culture of over positivity, I mean I'm putting words in your mouth, but in a culture of over positivity and like weird glossing over things, it was a really real raw moment where like you came clean and kind of said like this is all bullshit and this is how I like this is me.
Yeah.
And that seemed like very real and authentic and counter to what kind of the rest what you were trying to do prior in the film.
Right. It's about authenticity. Yeah.
There's a question right here in the red. Oh, we're there. From a man. Well,
Hello. Well, it's loud. So when I was watching this, I felt kind of crazy, so you did a great job. And the thing that we kind of...
We were never trying to make any kind of statement about mental illness with the movie. It's not about that. It's not an indictment on social media. It's for me, it's more of a human story about someone. For me, it's someone that has a disorder like Ingrid does, whether it's borderline personality disorder or some kind of chemical imbalance, and struggles socially. What happens to a person like that when they're confronted with Instagram or social media or a device like your phone that allows you to have access to the things that we have access to? So that was I don't think that the movie is trying to have a message necessarily about anything. It's, like I said, a question mark, and it's kind of exploring the implications of social media in the hands of someone that is struggling mentally. But there's no clear message.
And we have time for one more question. Yep, right there in red.
This was initially sort of a single-headed question, but sort of, do you have a message for people who maybe would look at Ingrid's story and think, oh, she just did it for the attention, she just did it for the press coverage, and then do you have a message for people who relate to Ingrid's loneliness and isolation?
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's an irony in what happens when she does that, but I don't think in that moment that she necessarily was doing it for attention, which is why it's ironic and confusing, because in the moment that she's being the most real and the most authentic, she ends up getting the most attention, but that's not what she needs, and that shouldn't happen. And I think the message for people that relate to the character of Ingrid, for me, is be yourself and be loving towards yourself, and know that we're all struggling, we're all flawed, and we're all really in this together. So the more you can take care of yourself and not compare yourself to other people and focus on your own gifts that you have to offer to the world, the happier you'll be. I mean, that was the message for me when I was working on it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Aubrey.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for coming out.
Thank you so much for coming.
We hope you share your thoughts.